Hi everybody, welcome back to DayZ and welcome to one of the coolest mods again that I've seen in a long time. This is another amazing mod by HunterZ. This is DayZ-Ravens, which brings proper birds to DayZ. And these birds spawn in via an event and can fly around. You can shoot them. They don't give you any meat or anything at the moment. That may well change because it is early days for this mod, but they're highly immersive. I can already think of lots of different uses you could use for having ravens. For example, you could do something like helicopter crashes. Instead of having smoke, you could have ravens flying around it, couldn't you? Or you could create completely custom events where maybe, you know, dead bodies, and then you could have ravens kind of showing players. So ravens would spawn at the same time, and players would look up, see the ravens, and they would know where the stuff was going off. But just generally having them flying around and making a racket is pretty cool. So in this video, I'm going to show you how to install it on a local server and a remote community server on the internet. Highly recommend, if you're not familiar with using local servers, that you do. They're great for testing mods and getting used to installing mods and finding errors before you spend the time to put it on the community server, because obviously on a community server you're working with the internet and things take a little bit longer. Okay, so let's just exit out of here so this noise stops, and so let's install DayZ-Raven on a local server. So it all starts off over at the Steam Workshop for DayZ, and you want to subscribe to it. Really cool. This mod doesn't rely on any other mods, doesn't have any dependencies, and when that downloads by going into your DayZ launcher, so if you go into your DayZ launcher, let's just exit out of this so you can see. When you launch your DayZ launcher, it will fire up and it will download the mod automatically. Then we need to find where the workshop folder is on your PC. It'll be in your DayZ folder, but if you're not sure where that is, if you click on the little arrow, click on three little dots, open folder in Windows Explorer. We're now, as you can see at the top of the screen here, we're in our main DayZ folder, not in the server folder, we're in the DayZ workshop folder. So all we need to do is find DayZ-Raven, which is there. So we can copy that, go up one. Now generally, your DayZ server will be in the same directory as where your DayZ folder is. So as you can see, DayZ server is here. Go into there. We will paste it in here. I've already done it, obviously, and there it is. Then we need to go into here. We need to grab the key, grab HunterZ by key, and then we just need to go into the keys folder for the server. If you've installed any of HunterZ mods already, that is the same key, so you'll get that error, but don't worry about that. And then the next thing we want to do is go into DayZ-Raven, and we want to get Raven territories. Now depending on the map that you're using, you're going to take the particular territories. By the time you watch this, there may well be more territories available, but we just take Raven territories, and then we go for Chernarus, because I'm showing you this on Chernarus. We go into the missions folder, go into Chernarus, go into ENV, and you would right click, paste, and then you would get Raven territories in here, which you can't see. Where are they? Have I not done that yet? There we are, Raven territories. There they are, ready to go. Now, very helpfully, what Hunter has included in the mod is the instructions that you need to edit the XMLs as well. So if we go into Raven territories, there's this very handy ambient ravens readme. So if you open that in your favorite text editor, it tells us what we've got to do. And basically what we have to do is we have to add 2 bits of code, that bit of code there and that bit of code there, to our cfg environments.config file. We need to add an entry to our events.xml file to make the event spawn in. We need to add the this entry to the types.xml file so that the ravens will hang around and won't just disappear, and then move the Raven territories XML to our env folder, which we've already done. So let's do that next. So add to cfg environments.config. So if we again go into our server, go into the missions folder, go into Chernarus Plus, open up cfg environments.config, which is there. Edit with Notepad++, go to the top, and then it says add this bit here under bare territories. So you would copy that, find bare territories and add it. As you can see, I've added it there, so that bit added there, so I've just pasted it in. Then it says add this bit under ambient hen. So we scroll down, and then ambient hen is down here somewhere. There we go. So that he's basically saying you can add it in there. I've just added it up above here because, as you can see, I've been installing all of his mods, and that does that there. So you'd want to then save that. Then go to the events.xml. So we need to find our events.xml. So that'll be in your DB directory. There's events.xml. Edit with Notepad++. Grab all of this. Add that to the events.xml. As you can see, I've added it to the top. So I paste it in there. Then we've got to add this snippet here to the types.xml. So we just copy all that. Find our types.xml, which is in the DB directory too. Edit with Notepad++. I've just pasted it in at the top there. You can see I've already done it. Then move the Ravens heritage.xml to DayZ immersion folder. That's the bit we did at the beginning. Now, however, we need to make sure that the server starts with DayZ Ravens. So what you need to do then is you need to find your batch file for your server. You should be pretty familiar with this by now. But what I do is I have all these dozens and dozens of different batch files, so that if I want to start my local server with a particular set of mods running very, very quickly, I don't have to mess around copying and pasting and typing different things. I can just click on a different batch file, because they're only really small. They're only 2 kilobytes, so you can make as many as you want. So, for example, if we open up this one, so this is my batch file. The batch file for your local server might look a little bit differently, but there will be a start line somewhere, and there will be a mod line somewhere. And as you can see, on my particular server, I've got CF, Zombie Admin Tools, VPP Admin Tools, and DayZ-Raven. So we just to make sure that within the mod bit, there's if it's by itself, it will just be DayZ-Raven. If it's behind another mod, there will be a semicolon. Remember, if you're not quite confident with your spelling, what you want to do is just go into the server, scroll up, go to DayZ-Raven, left click it again, right click it that, and then you'll have the exact spelling that you can then take into here and just paste it in. But just remember, of course, I've just gone over the quotation marks. Just make sure you've got that semicolon in there as well. And then we would save that. And I'd always recommend, whenever you're installing any of these mods, just make sure that you have a good read of the instructions down below. Especially, remember, I'm recording this video in April 23. Things may well have changed by the time you come to watch it. And also, if they're available, there aren't any here, but if there's some comments or in the change notes, have a read and see what things have changed or things that have been implemented or errors that people are having. Because sometimes people will have errors, and the solution to those errors will be placed here, not in the main description or in the readmes for the mods. So then all you need to do is just double click, save everything, double click on your batch file, the server will fire up, and then your ravens will start spawning in at various places around the map, or you can spawn them in manually, as I was doing there, to give you a quick demo. So that's how you install it on a local server. So let's do it on a remote community server next. Okay, so now let's install DayZ-Raven on a remote community server. In this case, it's going to be a Nitrado community server. So first things first, as always, you want to go to the DayZ workshop and you want to subscribe. As you can see, there are no dependencies, which is so cool, which means that you can run this mod by itself if you wanted to on your server. And then what you want to do is you want to fire up the DayZ launcher, and the DayZ launcher will then download DayZ-Raven, because what we were going to be doing is we're going to be using our FTP program, and I'm kind of relying on the fact that you've used your FTP program with your server before to upload the relevant files, and in fact we're going to use it to edit the relevant files that we need to edit as well, apart from the little start batch file that's going to be in the control panel for our server. So once it's downloaded, if you want to know where it is, if you click on the little arrow here, click on the three dots, click on Open Folder in Windows Explorer, say I understand, and this will open up the workshop folder into which your mods are downloaded. So as you can see, they're all here. Now what I'd recommend you probably do at this point is find DayZ-Raven, just go into it, go into the Raven territories and open up the Ambient Ravens README, because what Hunter has included here is a very handy set of instructions on how you install it, which is really cool. So next things next. We want to go over to our server, and then you want to stop your server, and then the other place we want to go is in the general settings. And when we scroll down, what we're going to be doing in a minute is we're going to be changing the start batch file. So depending on what server provider you're on, you may well have access to the batch file or not. Now with Nitrado, the batch file is the file that starts the server, if you like, and tells it what mods to start with. With Nitrado we don't have direct access to it, so we have to fill in this line here, additional mods. If you do have access to the batch file, it will look something like this, and you'll have a line that says start, and then within that line you'll have a mod section like this, and you just need to make sure that you add into this section at DayZ-Raven. So in fact what I could do now is if I just copy that at DayZ-Raven and put it over the top of DayZ-Rat, like that. There we go. So now this particular server will start with Community Framework, Zombie Admin Tools, VPP Admin Tools, and DayZ-Raven. I have the admin tool stuff for testing, so I can make sure stuff's worked. Okay, so we've told the server to start with this stuff, but now we need to get the files in place. So we're going to nip over to our FTP program. So on the left, this is my local files on my PC. On the right, this is the files on the remote server. And then we need to go to the workshop on my PC. So as you can see, it's here. Now if you get a bit stuck actually and you're not sure how to find the workshop folder on your PC to find it within your FTP program, again it's really easy. If you just do that trick that we did earlier, that where we went into the launcher and you click on the three dots, open folders in Windows Explorer. If you go to the top of the screen and left click in this bar here, that will then give you the address. So we can now right click that, copy that, go to our FTP program, left click in this section here at the top, paste that in, press enter, that will take us exactly to where we need to be. So we're in the workshop, so we scroll down, find DayZ-Raven, there it is, and all I need to do now is just make sure we're clicked on DayZ standalone, go back to DayZ-Raven, right click, upload, and this is now going to upload all its bits. Nice and easy, there it is. So next thing we need to do is on the left hand side, open up DayZ-Raven, open up the keys folder, so it's down here now, go to the keys folder on the server, which is here, and then just left click on that, right click upload. Now there will already be one there if you've previously installed any of other HunterZ mods, so if you've got DayZ Dog, DayZ Cat, all that sort of stuff, so you'll just get an error, but don't worry about that. So the next thing we need to do is we need to make sure we add the territories file. Now if we go back to the Ambient Ravens readme.txt that we just opened up, rather handily it tells you how to do everything here. And in fact what we're going to do next, actually we're kind of doing this in reverse order. So what we've got to do is move the Raven territories.xml to your DayZ mission folder. Again, if we have a look into the mod, let's have a quick look, I'll just show you. You'll see that in the territories, at the time of recording this video, there's territories for Banov, Cherners, Chiemsee, Deer Isle, Livonia, Lux and Rostow. So as time progresses, Hunter may well add more territory files here, and the territory files basically tell the game where the Ravens should spawn in. So if we go into the churnerous one, we can see there's Raven territories. So back to our FTP program. What we want to do is on the left-hand side, we just want to open this up. And then this is a churnerous server, so I'm going to click on churnerous, and that's the Raven territories.xml for churnerous. Now we need to find where this would go on our local server. So it's going to be in the missions folder. So we click on there, click on the little plus. There's DayZ churnerous plus, open that up, and there's env. So we click on that, and you can see we've got all the territories folders here. So we know we're in the right place. So we can just left click on that, upload, and that's put that over here. Now the next thing we need to do is edit the XML files, and again if we go back to the instructions, we go to the top, we need to add a couple of snippets, that one and that one there, to the cfg environments.config file. So if we go back to our FTP program and we go back to the MP missions folder and go back to churnerous, if we scroll down you'll be able to find that what's it called again? CFG environments. So there it is. So there's CFG environment.xml. Now you could download this and edit it locally. Highly recommend you do that, because if you make a mistake, it's easier to spot. But what you can do in most FTP programs, if you just say right click it and view edit, that will then open it up into your local PC. And what we can do now is I can just copy this Raven territories bit, and he says to put it under bare territories. So there's bare territories, so let's just put that in there. And then the next bit he says put under the ambient hem bit, so we copy that bit there, CFG environment. So scroll down, so there's ambient hen. Now I'm not going to put it there, I'm going to put it near the top, because I've been putting them on the top underneath where are we? We're going to pop it right there. So that's there. So that's correct. So, and what happens is if I now press save on this, and then go back to my FTP program, it says this file has changed. Do you want me to upload it? And you go, yep, and then it uploads it. So that's cool. Now the next thing we need to do, if we go back to our instructions, is we need to scroll down. So we need to open up the events.xml and add this event snippet here. So we go back to our FTP program, go back to MP missions, go back to churnerous plus, and if we go into the DB directory, this is where events is. So I can just right click that, view edit. This opens it up in my local text editor, and then we can just copy ambient Raven, and I'm just going to pop it at the top here. Ambient Raven is all there, so we can save that. Go back to FTP, and it will say this has changed. You want us to upload it? Yes, please. And then the next thing we need to do, if we go back to our instructions, is we need to add this snippet here to our types.xml. So back to FTP. Types.xml happens to be in the same folder as events.xml, so we can just right click that, view edit, opens it up in my FTP program. I can just copy all that, go to types, and I'm just going to put it at the top underneath the opening types argument. Save that, go back to my FTP program. Do you want to upload it? Yes, please. And it uploads it, and there we go. And that's all we've got to do. So now if we just go back to our interface for our server, just double check that's in place. We would save that. Wait for it to save. It's been successfully saved. Restart the server, and then we would have DayZ Ravens on our server. There we go. Hope you found this video useful. If you have, hit like. Big shout out to HunterZ for creating these ambient animals. They're absolutely fantastic. They add so much more to the game. And yeah, so if you enjoyed the video, hit like. If you want to see more of the same, press subscribe, and I will of course see you again soon.